Dear crafters, this is a second hat I'm making using a black yarn. Take a look at the crocodile stitch part. I'm going to show you for during this second part of our tutorial. First, we need to make a row of of the foundation for the crocodile stitch, which is going to look like this last row here. By the way, this tutorial won't show you in detail how to crochet the crocodile stitch. If you want to learn how to make it in detail, a link to our old tutorial will be shown in the description box below the video. By the way, that old tutorial will show you a variation of this crocodile stitch. What I mean to say is that the foundation for the crocodile stitch is done differently. What differs is this V stitch I used here, whereas in the old tutorial there's a normal set of double crochet stitches without that chain one space between the stitches. Well, anyway, let's not take more of your time, and let me show you how to make this crocodile stitch in how to say that, in well, not in speed mode, not in slow motion. In speed mode. So here is where I finished joining the ending side to the beginning side, and God, these stitch markers are very helpful for me. Well, now this is actually the last row I made. Right, and in that last double crochet stitch on the side, insert your hook and slip stitch, and then chain 3, and then make a double crochet stitch in that same space. After this, skip the following stitch on the side, and in the next space make another V stitch, which is a double crochet stitch, a chain 1, and a second double crochet stitch. Then skip the next space, and in the following make another V stitch. Once more, skip the next space, and in the following on the side make a V stitch, double crochet stitch, chain 1, and another double crochet stitch. This is what you need to do now around the headband up until the beginning of, the end of the row. As you can see, I placed a few stitch markers around to help me with the count of the stitches. By the way, you should have 26 sets of double crochet stitches, chain 1 double crochet stitches, 26 V stitches on this first row. So let us meet at the end of the row to show you what to do next. Dear crafters, here is how you should end the first row of the foundation for the crocodile stitch. Slip stitch to the first chain 3 you made at the beginning of the row. And here is how this foundation of the crocodile stitch looks like. Now take another look at my black hat, black and brown. Now we need to make this pattern of the crocodile stitch, and this is what you need to do. Found my work. I had to adapt some of these steps to work with my disability. So I'm going to chain 2 now, and then need to make 5 double crochet stitches along that chain 3 space we made on the previous row. So work 5 double crochet stitches from top to the bottom of that chain 3. Three, 4 and 5, chain 1, and then turn your work to make 5 more double crochet stitches on the second double crochet stitch of that V stitch from bottom to top. One, 2, once more, my work is extremely tight, whereas mom's is a lot looser. So my instructions might if you follow these instructions based on the tension of your work, your hat might turn either bigger or smaller. So make sure your tension is as mine, if you know what I mean. Now skip this following V stitch, and in the third one, next one, make this 5 double crochet stitches from top to the bottom of the first double crochet stitch of the set. Three, 4 and 5, chain 1, alright, turn and make 5 double crochet stitches on the second double crochet stitch from bottom to top. 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now you need to skip the next double crochet, the next V stitch, sorry, and in the following one make this cute crocodile stitch. You should have 13 crocodile stitches on the first row. We'll meet at the end of the row for the following steps. Dear crafters, let's finish off this first row of crocodile stitches. see there is one last V-stitch left between the first and last crocodile stitch. Now what I'm going to do is to slip stitch between that chain 2 we made at the beginning, between that chain 2 and the first double crochet stitch of the set of 5. Well, slip stitch, and here is the first row of crocodile stitch completed. Now to continue making more rows of crocodile stitches, we need to make another foundation for the crocodile stitch. So chain 3. Most will teach you to turn the work on the inside and make the V-stitches around the hat or any other item from the inside of the work. However, it doesn't matter at all if you make it on the inside or on the outside of the work. I prefer it on the outside. So I chained 3 and now make a double crochet stitch in the middle of the V-stitch from the previous row, in that chain 1 space. And now make another V-stitch in the middle of this crocodile, in that chain 1 space. Once more, in the middle of the following V-stitch, make a third V-stitch, but make sure you also well, grab this space between the crocodile stitches. So double crochet stitch, chain 1 and double crochet stitch, and in the following chain 1 space in the middle of the crocodile stitch, make another V-stitch, and following these very simple steps, continue up until the end of the row. You need to have 26 V-stitches on this row as well, just like the previous foundation of the crocodile stitch. So let's meet at the end of this row. Now slip stitch to the beginning chain 3 to join the beginning to the end to the beginning of the row, and then chain 2 and make the crocodile stitch around this V-stitch following the instruction given previously. By the way, make sure these crocodile stitches do not fall over the crocodile stitches from the previous row. They always need to fall between the crocodiles from the previous row. Since these instructions are a repetition of the previous instructions, we will show you this while playing some music over. Another thing, please make this second row of crocodile stitches 3 more times. You'll have 5 counting the first one as well, but please repeat this second one 3 more times, and after which we'll meet once again for another step. Hi again, dear crafters. Here is how my hat looks like so far, with the completed first 5 rows of the crocodile stitch. Please make sure your hat looks similar as mine. There are only 2 steps left. The following is the decreasing part. And the last one is to enclose the hat on top of the head right here. The easiest way to do this decreasing part when making the crocodile stitch in circle is to use a smaller crochet hook size. Take a look at my collection of crochet hooks, and this is only a small part of my crochet hook stash. So because I used a 5mm crochet hook, now I'm going to make use of the 4.51, which is this one right here. Now, since these instructions are the same as the previous, I'm going to make 2 rows of crocodile stitch of the crocodile stitch off camera. So 2, all right, 2 rows, and then I'm going to show you how my hat looks with 7 completed rows. One last thing, let me show you what I mean by decreasing. Well, remember I was showing you a black hat I was working at the same time. Take a look at this. This is what I mean by decreasing. This is nearly done. I hope it is well visible on camera how it got a lot smaller on top of here. Let me show it to you. See? Now this will need to be enclosed right here, and that should be it. So make 2 rows using the 4.5 millimeter crochet hook, and then we'll meet once again to show you how my hat is going along. Dear crafters, see how my head, the top of my head, of my hat decreased in size after making the extra 2 rows of crocodile stitches. However, this is not enough to enclose the hat after this step. If you were to do so right now, this would make the hat go over the forehead and the ears far too much. So a second decreasing is needed. What I'm going to do now is to make 2 more rows of the crocodile stitch, but using even a smaller crochet hook, 4 millimeter one. I hope I got this one right. Yeah, it's the right one. Following the same steps with a very small difference. Instead of making 5 double crochet stitches across the V-stitch on one side and the other side of the V-stitch, make 4 double crochet stitches. I'm not going to show this on camera because these are the exact same instructions with this very small difference. 4 double crochet stitches instead of 5 double crochet stitches. Also, make sure the number of rows you got is right. 2 more are needed because, well, this is what I mean to say. Take a look at third, let's see, my first attempt to make this pattern. This is a dummy test I made a few months back, practicing these instructions. When I made this first hat, I did not get the right number of the crocodile rows, so the hat turned kind of small. See, it goes over the forehead and over the ears. Well, it's still, cute. So continue making 2 more rows of the crocodile stitch, and then let's meet for the final step, which is the enclosing part of the hat. How is your hat going on? Well, mine gave me quite a headache yesterday and drained me out of energy, and here is why. I was supposed to make 2 more rows of the crocodile stitch using the 4 millimeter crochet hook, just like suggested previously. However, when it came to making the second and last row of the crocodile stitch part, I realized that my remaining yarn wasn't going to be enough to finish the hat, and I just don't have more of this type of yarn to be able to finish the hat. So I tried my hat on and realized that even if I wasn't going to make the second row of the crocodile stitch, the size of the hat was enough to enclose it and still, be and still fit my hat, thankfully, because I was kind of scared and panicked. I truly apologized if I give you exhausting explanations about the yarn and stuff like that, but it is important because this type of this pattern is yarn eater. Both the front bow stitch and the crocodile stitch are yarn eaters. So no need to make the 2 rows of the crocodile stitch. In my case, please make sure your hat is big enough, because look, this, even though this has 8 finished rows of the crocodile stitch right here, and is large enough and big enough, my first attempt, the one that I showed you earlier, has also 8 rows and yet is very small. See, it's still very small. It lifts a little over the forehead and ears, whereas my third attempt of this hat, this second black one, has 9 rows and is perfect. This all depends on the type of yarn you are using. So let's leave it as it is, 8 completed rows, and now let me show you how to enclose the top of this hat. My sister and my mom are going to give me a helping hand for this part because their work is a lot neater. This will be shown in a third part of the tutorial for an easier search on YouTube search. So let's meet in that third part of this tutorial.